Ignorance, the root and stem of all evil. Plato. The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance, it is the illusion of knowledge. Stephen Hawking. Ignorance is bliss, but only until reality hits you in the face. Unknown. The only thing more dangerous than ignorance is arrogance. Albert Einstein. Nothing in the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. Martin Luther King Jr. The beginning of knowledge is the discovery of something we do not understand. Frank Herbert. Ignorance more frequently begets confidence than does knowledge. It is those who know little, and not those who know much, who so positively assert that this or that problem will never be solved by science. Charles Darwin. The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes. William James. The only way to deal with ignorance is through education. Leila Gifty Akita. Ignorance is not bliss, it's just a different kind of pain. Terry Goodkind. Ignorance is a voluntary misfortune. Nicholas Ling. Ignorance is not innocence, but sin. Robert Browning. The greatest ignorance is to reject something you know nothing about. Unknown. Ignorance is a virus. Once it starts spreading, it can only be cured by reason. For the sake of humanity, we must be that cure. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Ignorance, allied with power, is the most ferocious enemy justice can have. James Baldwin. The most violent element in society is ignorance. Emma Goldman. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Socrates. Ignorance is not a point of view. It's a lack of knowledge. Kyle Schmid. Education is the key to unlock the golden door of freedom. George Washington Carver. Ignorance is a prison, and a wise man never stops seeking to escape it. Ray Bradbury. The less you know, the more you think you know, because you don't know enough to know that you don't know. Unknown. Ignorance is the curse of God. Knowledge is the wing wherewith we fly to heaven. William Shakespeare. An ignorant mind is precisely not a spotless, empty vessel, but one that's filled with the clutter of irrelevant or misleading life experiences, theories, facts, intuitions, strategies, algorithms, heuristics, metaphors, and hunches that regrettably have the look and feel of useful and accurate knowledge. Daniel Dennett. The only true source of knowledge is experience. Albert Einstein. The problem with the world is that the intelligent people are full of doubts, while the stupid ones are full of confidence. Charles Bukowski. Ignorance is not bliss, it is a silent killer. Edmund Mbiaka. The only thing more frustrating than slanderers is those foolish enough to listen to them. Chris Jamie. Ignorance is not an excuse, it's a choice. Unknown. The more you know, the less you fear. Unknown. The mark of your ignorance is the depth of your belief in injustice and tragedy. What the caterpillar calls the end of the world, the master calls a butterfly. Richard Bach. It is impossible to defeat an ignorant man in argument. William G. McAdoo. The greater our knowledge increases, the greater our ignorance unfolds. John F. Kennedy. Ignorance is not knowing anything and being attracted to the good side, while knowing everything and still being attracted to the bad side is called stupidity. Mehmet Murat Ilden. Ignorance is the mother of all vices. François Rabelais. There is only one good, knowledge, and one evil, ignorance. Socrates. There are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe what isn't true. The other is to refuse to believe what is true. Soren Kierkegaard. The more you learn, the more you realize how little you know. Unknown. The greatest obstacle to discovery is not ignorance, it is the illusion of knowledge. Daniel J. Austin. Ignorance is not a point of view, it's a lack of information. Dan Brown. To be conscious of being, you need to reclaim consciousness from the mind. This is one of the most essential steps in any spiritual practice. You need to disidentify from the mind. Eckhart Tolle. Ignorance is a state of mind, but not a state of being. Michael A. Singer. If ignorance is bliss, why aren't more people happy? Unknown. It is better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt. Abraham Lincoln. Ignorance is like a delicate fruit, touch it, and the bloom is gone. Oscar Wilde. You can't fill a cup that's already full. Unknown. The more you know yourself, the less ignorant you are. Unknown. Ignorance is the night of the mind, but a night without moon and star. Confucius. The fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. William Shakespeare. The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes. William James. Ignorance, allied with power, is the most ferocious enemy justice can have. James Baldwin.